I think it's fair to say that Khalil Mack is officially a good football player. I mean, they went from being a top 10 defense 2 years ago to being an elite defense last year, and I think a huge part of that was because of the addition of Khalil Mack. While I personally defended the move from the Raiders' perspective because I think they needed to rebuild and they needed to work on being better for the future, I think it makes a lot of sense for the Bears as well because they're in a win-now mode. People sometimes put too much emphasis in who won the trade, but sometimes nobody wins a trade, sometimes it's good for both teams, and I think that was the situation on this trade. Whether the Raiders do well next year or they don't do well next year, that has no impact on whether or not it was a good move from the Bears. And they went from a team that was nowhere close to the playoffs to being a team that won 12 games, so I definitely think that, in isolation, it definitely helped. Although obviously changing the coaching staff definitely benefited them as well. But anyways, one way Khalil Mack can be effective is in the running game. Obviously, we all know about his ability to rush the passer, and I will get into that in a second, but he's also very good at helping to run. Like, what's going to happen on this play is it is going to be a run to the right side of the screen, and so, every line is blocking to the right side of the screen, meaning that Khalil Mack is actually going to be unblocked on this play. It is going to be run to the right side of the screen, and so they're basically saying, hey, our halfback will be able to outrun an edge rusher, so we don't have to worry about blocking him, which is a pretty good idea in most cases. I mean, it's a great way to get an extra blocker, so it's definitely the kind of thing you can do. So right off the bat, one of Khalil Mack's jobs on this play is basically stay to the left side of the screen and make sure he doesn't give up containment. That's what he's doing right now, and that's what he's going to do for this entire play. Now, one thing that makes this Bears defense so good is they don't just have a couple of stars, but they're a complete defense. They have good players on every position, which is why they were such a good defense last year. So as you see on the right side of the screen, now there really isn't room for Detroit to try to run this ball through. But more importantly, look at Khalil Mack here. He again was making sure he didn't give up containment, which is key, because if he ran too far to the right side of the screen, a halfback could cut back to the left side of the screen, get around him, and pick up a ton of yards. But now, because he knew that containment was the most important thing on this play, he was able to run over and make sure that he wasn't in a bad position. So now that he can make a tackle, he's going to, and he's going to make one heck of a tackle at that. I mean, that's one of those situations I would not want to be in, is being a halfback cutting to the left and then seeing Khalil Mack running like a train right into you. Okay, so I had to show one example of him stopping the run, but let's be honest, what we like about Khalil Mack is his ability to rush the passer. That's why you're all watching this video, to see how good he is at rushing the passer. Well, this one would be an example of him doing a very good job of rushing the passer. You are going to see that there is a tight end in this game, however, he's running a route, so really he's not too important. It's going to actually be the right tackle who's in charge of blocking Khalil Mack on this play. So one thing you're going to see Khalil Mack do is it appears as though he's going to be breaking pretty far to that tackle's right side of his body, and it makes a lot of sense to do that. I mean, Mack knew that there was a tight end in the game and didn't know if that tight end was going to be blocking him or not, so he can't just run straight to that right tackle because for all he knows there would be a tight end blocking and then he would be just running straight into a double team. However, that's not exactly what he's going to do. Once he's at this point, he's going to kind of realize, hey, I do have a one-on-one matchup and that tackle is moving to the right side of the screen. So he's going to instead just initiate that contact and run straight into the tackle. Maybe for some guys this would be a mistake because Mack is strong enough. Now he's going to trust that because the tackle isn't in great position, because the tackle was expecting him to go to the right, this now means that Mack can basically just overpower him and get to Stafford, and that's pretty much what's going to end up happening. That's one of the things that makes him such an effective player. I mean, really, it's like Mack was built in a lab to be a good edge rusher. With his speed and his strength, it's just unfair. And it's not just those plays either. It's not like he's just some freak athlete that's able to overpower people. I mean, this guy is a smart player, and I'll show you what I mean with this play. They're going to fake a run to the right side of the screen, and then Eli is going to actually cut back and go to the left side of the screen. That's where Mack is on the screen, and he's not really going to get blocked because they're expecting the play fake to do enough for him. Basically, that tight end will block him a little bit before running a route, but that's pretty much all that Mack is going to get blocked because it is a fake run to the right side of the screen. They're going to expect Mack to run over there, and then when Eli cuts to the left side of the screen, there'll be enough space that he'll be able to have room to make a throw. But one thing you'll notice right off the bat is that look at how quickly Mack realized what's going on. I mean, this ball hasn't even been snapped yet, but he's already creeping over to the left side of the screen. The second man and keeps it himself, then Mack is able to run over and he actually gets a hand on the ball and bats it down. If he doesn't do that, that's a completion. I mean, that's just a smart play by Mack. I mean, 9 out of 10 edge rushers do get fooled and run over to the right side of the screen and try to potentially stop a run, but Mack realized what was going on quick enough that he was able to then cut back and be able to get into the play. And one last play, and this play will really probably do the best job showing you just what kind of a game changer Mack is, will be this one. He's going up against a left tackle, and basically before contact happens, take a look at this situation. If you're a tackle, what would you want to do to Mack? Well, you could do a couple things, but one thing you could do is try to get your right arm right there on Mack's left shoulder pad, and then get your left arm right there on Mack's right pec. Personally, because he's a left tackle, I'd actually recommend doing the inverse, but you can really do either one, and that's what he's going to try to do here. However, one thing you're going to see Mack do is basically just initiate contact with one arm, and this is actually very interesting. Because for one thing, a tackle won't be able to get good hand placement if you just have one arm there, because obviously you can reach out farther with one arm than with two arms. But now you're going to have to push a tackle all the way over with only using your left arm. But because Mack is so strong, that's exactly what he's able to do. It's plays like that that really make Mack such an elite player, and really, I mean, I've already made a video about Khalil Mack, which is why I'm not really making a full-length video on him here. Although granted, the video I made about him earlier wasn't about him either. It was about him going up against both Jason Peters and also Lane Johnson. It was a preview of that wildcard matchup. So I kind of figured maybe I'll just give him some more love and give him another short video. So basically one short video and half of one full-length video kind of equals one full-length video. And plus, he's just a fun guy to break down. So that's why I decided to make a video on him. And as always, thanks for watching.